How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I need to talk to you about Bitcoin, some Bitcoin that's lost and gone forever. And to be clear, stay through to the end because a lot of people will read that title, just assume them saying that Bitcoin's never going to go up in price, and that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, though, there is a lot of Bitcoin lost and gone forever, and people don't understand why this is so important. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video. We're going to be going through some BlackRock news. We're going to be going through some rate decision news because today's actually a pretty huge day for interest rates. If you don't mind, though, like I said, you can hit subscribe, stay through to the end of the video, and there is a link underneath to Margex where you can start trading cryptocurrency. You can claim your airdrop if you were trading over the last couple weeks. And if you're new, you can sign up with the link underneath the video. You can use all different forms of collateral. So for example, I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart. I can trade Bitcoin and I can use all different forms of collateral. So I can use Solana, I can use Bitcoin, I can use USDT, I can use Ethereum to trade Bitcoin. Now that allows me to have lower volatility, lower chance of liquidation, look at an easier chart, but then also have the upside of these altcoins. Also, we're going to be talking about Kaspa in a bit. You can trade Kaspa on Margex. So a lot of people don't have access to Kaspa, but Margex has no KYC. You don't need a VPN. Of course, always check their terms and conditions, but you can start trading Kaspa today. And there's a link to CoinW and to Blowfin underneath the video as well. Now, the Fed Rate Monitor tool says that we are with 96% certainty going to stay at the current interest rates in the US after the Fed's rate decision here today. We're only a few hours away from that. There's a 4.1% chance that we see a rate cut. And then there's an 88% chance that we see a rate cut with basically no chance, according to the market right now, that we're going to see the rate stay the same. Now, after earnings, after seeing companies go down 10%, 5% after double beating, and after a lot of other things too, to be honest. But after that, the last few days, honestly, I do think we see that rate cut in September. I think people have to be careful. I've seen a lot of actually properties by me go down in value or go down in price pretty significantly. There are deals popping up. So I think things are just weakening enough that they really do need to cut rates, even if it's by 0.25%. But we're basically going to we're going to have Jerome Powell speak today. I think the market will react depending on whether he seems like there's, a very good certainty that we're going to cut rates next month, or next meeting, I should say. And then if he doesn't sound like that, if he's like, well, we're still going to wait and see, he's a little bit harsher, a little bit more hawkish than we're expecting, well, then the markets might react in a negative way. But we'll have to see based on his speech today. But overall, not terrible to start thinking that September would be a 25% or a 0.25% rate cut. Then the next one, another 0.25% and so on. Honestly, that would probably help the economy pretty significantly. And we do have news that the Treasury is increasing liquidity buyback totals to $30 billion from $15 billion. So yeah, they say not quantitative easing 2.0 is growing. Yeah, there are a quantitative easing in a number of ways, but the interest rates are the most obvious and probably the most applicable to most people. And in a variety of ways too, like you can lend easier, or you can get your hands on more money. You can buy bigger houses. You can buy more cars. You can feel better about investing in the market because you're not getting 5% in a treasury or in a savings account. And to be clear, most of us probably are invested pretty heavily in crypto and in stocks and real estate. But, there are a lot of people that are heavily invested in treasuries. And those are the people that I'm talking about really shifting away from that. If they start getting 2 or 3% versus 5%, they will shift some of their capital. And don't forget, Bitcoin having progress is at 7%. This just continues. This is the escalator that never stops. This is the hill that the boulder never slows down on. We just continue to move forward, closer and closer to the next halving, which is the next cycle. And we're going to have some rough times, to be clear, between this date and the next halving. We're going to have big days down. We've had that every single cycle, but most likely we will see a big run up somewhere in the next year, year and a half. So it should be fun for anyone that is a Bitcoin holder. And I think we've seen a lot of the groundwork laid for why we're going to move up, right? Whether it is presidents talking about, or president-elects talking about buying Bitcoin or being pro-Bitcoin, whether it's rate cuts, whether it's nations buying, whether it's international trade settled in Bitcoin. Again, there are just so many different things that could push up the price of Bitcoin. And I want to talk about someone that's buying Bitcoin today, a huge buy, and why Bitcoin's lost and gone forever. But first, today's show sponsor. Now, last week we had Donald Trump speak at the keynote in Nashville at the Bitcoin conference, and that's going to be a big narrative, I think, over the next 6 months or so through elections, whether Trump becomes president, and then also his policies for crypto. Now, a lot of people are obviously playing on this. There are a lot of meme coins out there that have to do with Trump, and one of the newest ones is McMaga. MAGA Donalds. MAGA Donalds is interesting. McMaga is the token, and they just launched. They say, we are proud to present the McMaga burger and a whole host of tasty treats, beginning with the saucy starter menu. And then it's just another meme coin, but based on Trump. But obviously, there's a lot of McDonald's jokes in crypto as well, that if we don't play it right, we're going to go work at McDonald's. So I'm going to leave a link to this underneath the video. I do hold a small part of the tokens. You can see the official contract address. You can see the chart here right now. It is, it's a small crypto, 410K in market cap. If you do want to buy it, like I said, links underneath the video. But keep in mind, this is a riskier crypto, riskier asset. So definitely make sure you understand what you're buying. Now, BlackRock bought over 1,100 Bitcoin again yesterday. They're buying, 70 million plus? It seems like every single day. Of course, there are some days that are more or less, but BlackRock continues to stack. They're up to, it looks like somewhere around 300 and maybe 50,000 Bitcoin, somewhere around there, which is really impressive. I mean, I could find this out, but yeah, they just continue to stack, continue to swallow up Bitcoin. And overall, we're still seeing mostly net positive days from the Bitcoin ETFs. Casper, like I said, heading higher, up at nearly 20 cents. Let's actually pull that up on the chart here. It's very bullish. Yeah, it's over 20 cents now. Again, if you want to trade this, there's a link to Margex underneath the video. You can actually trade. You can trade CAS by using leverage. We were able to get them to add this. We reached out to them and said, hey, this is a huge fan favorite. Can you add this? And they said, sure. And then added it. They only have about 50 or so different cryptocurrencies on here. But if there is some crypto that's large enough with enough liquidity, with enough interest, they can add it for you. But yeah, this is crazy, this move that Caspa's made. I mean, this chart obviously doesn't catch a lot of the move from Caspa when it went from basically zero up to here. But one of the best performers this cycle already. And Bitcoin is lost and gone forever. I think it's important to remember when we start talking about nations, nations buying millions of Bitcoin, because RFK Jr. did talk about buying 4 million Bitcoin. And when we look at Russia, who says we're going to allow people to start trading crypto internationally, we're going to legalize it. We look at BlackRock buying hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. Everyone thinks that there's 21 million Bitcoin, but you have to remember a lot of it is lost. A lot of it is gone. I pull up this chart. This is the cumulative sum of dormant Bitcoin addresses. This basically shows how much Bitcoin has moved by a certain date or hasn't moved. So if you look here, 2018, there are about 5 million Bitcoin in wallets from 2018 and before that have not been moved. Or the last date that they have been moved was 2018 or before. Hope this isn't too confusing, but yeah, these these Bitcoin have not been moved in 6 years. Now, some people would say, well, they're just holding on. They're strong. They're diamond handing. But you have to realize that some people just don't have access. People lose their hardware wallets without writing down their seed phrase. They lose their seed phrase. They know their seed phrase. They know where it's hidden, but they get hit by a bus, and then their family doesn't know. Or they just don't have any plan in general, right? Like, they just haven't thought that far ahead, or they send Bitcoin to the wrong address. There's a lot of Bitcoin that is lost out there. There are articles talking about people that have lost their Bitcoin. And to be clear, some of this Bitcoin has lost too since 2018. I'm just picking out 2018 as a nice round number for 5 million Bitcoin, but there's Bitcoin from last week that's been lost. It was sent to an Ethereum address or a USDT address. So there's Bitcoin all the time being lost. The estimation is around 5, maybe 6 million Bitcoin is lost. So when you start playing with those big numbers, like, hey, we're going to, as a country, buy 1 million Bitcoin, you have to remember there's not actually as much Bitcoin as you might think. And that's honestly a good thing for holders that actually can hold on to their Bitcoin. For everyone that's lost their Bitcoin, it sucks. It does suck. But for everyone else, that means that Bitcoin's even more scarce than people think. So that is interesting. Let me know your thoughts on that underneath the video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, you can check out the link to Margex and to CoinW underneath the video in case you want to start trading. Same thing with Blowfin and WEEX. We actually just got a new airdrop for WEEX in case you want to check that out. There's a link to it underneath the video. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.